get ready for a barrage of fire in North Korea and chilling more threat to neighbors. Dictator Kim Jong-un and his minions have grown increasingly angry of South Korea's closeness to their sworn rivals the U.S. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump has given up on negotiating with Rocket Man Kim. He warned his Secretary of State Rex Tillerson on Twitter that he shouldn't waste his time. Attack: Kim Jong-un has threatened South Korea with destruction. Rivals: South Korea Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa has called for Kim Jong-un to be reined in. And last night, state media announced Kim Jong-un's government is close to its final goal of perfecting the nuclear force of the state. Now it has emerged North Korea has gone even further and directly threatened its enemy the South. The Foreign Minister of South Korea, Kang Kyung-hwa, has just returned from the UN General Assembly where she called for the North to give up its arms. She called for the North's regime to change its path. Leadership in South Korea is getting increasingly worried as missile tests increase in the hermit nation to their north. They have called for the international community to deter additional provocation and intensify joint defenses. State newspaper Rodong Sinmun even claimed their neighbors were crying out for the deployment of U.S. nuclear weapons on their land. It then threatened South Korea, adding, "The above-said behavior is just an act of treachery betraying the true colors of the faithful dog and war executor of the U.S. and a hideous provocation to the dignity of the DPRK's supreme leadership like the American old gangster." The South Korean puppet regime's servile move is just a foolish act of precipitating its self-destruction. In case a war breaks out in the Korean peninsula, South Korea will come under the barrage of fire beyond imagination, it continued. If the South Korean authorities persist in zealously joining the Trump cult in its anti-DPRK moves, defying our repeated warnings, they will have to pay dearly for it. They had better zip their lips if they don't want to meet the miserable end. Dictator Kim is getting very touchy over the blossoming relationships between the U.S. and South Korea. He described the defense treaty between the two nations as a secret scheme to invade his country. The agreement was described as a treaty embedded with a plot to actualize their delusion to invade North Korea.